We're here with Matt Hilton from Square Enix talking about Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn.
Yep, we are.
So tell me, Matt, first off, what exactly is Reborn about this realm?
Everything. I mean, honestly, everything from version 1.0, our original release, we've pretty much reborn from the ground up, you know, whether it's the world itself, the locations are different, the graphics engine is completely redone from the ground up, and the entire server structure, everything is basically reborn and given new life, basically.
Right on. What kind of lessons did you learn? I know that this isn't the first iteration of Final Fantasy XIV, and you guys even did Final Fantasy XI before it, another MMO-based Final Fantasy. What lessons did you guys learn from the development of those games when creating A Realm Reborn?
I think the biggest thing that we've learned over time is basically make sure you're listening to the community, because the community is your #1 focus.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say that, but for an online game, it's doubly important. It's really important for us to be transparent as much as possible and tell them, you know, hey, here's what we're working on, here's what we're doing. We want to get their feedback, and you know what we've been doing for A Realm Reborn. Ever since we closed down version 1.0 last year, we've been in alpha testing, beta testing, and every weekend we're collecting more and more feedback. And I think we recently launched a huge update where we're telling everybody exactly, we're being as open as possible to let them know what's changed and what's different.
Cool. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest MMO guy.
Okay.
I understand that this one has a lot of tidbits that might get me interested, though.
Yes.
Can you go into detail about why I should be interested in Final Fantasy XIV?
Yeah,
A Realm
for sure.
Reborn?
I mean, honestly, this is a Final Fantasy game. You know, Final Fantasy is a huge franchise over 25 years, tons of titles, tons of content, and it's important for us to make sure that we're using that heritage properly in Final Fantasy XIV. Our producer and director Yoshida is a huge Final Fantasy gamer himself, and he's doing a lot to bring in a lot of the content and ideas and, you know, things that players love. You know, we have our chocobos, our Moogles, Sid is flying his airship and things like that, but it's not just that, it's also you know, really important things from other Final Fantasy, like Magitech armor we're bringing in, and Final Fantasy VII, you know, we have the limit break system, we're incorporating that into Final Fantasy XIV. So no longer is it just about, you know, playing an online game, but it's a Final Fantasy game first and foremost too, you know. And the cool thing about what we're doing is we're making sure that all that Final Fantasy heritage stuff fits into the world of 14, and it's not just like, oh, you go walk over here and here's the FF7 land or something. It all fits in really cohesively, and we're pretty proud of it, and we think that gamers are really gonna react to it. We have like the materia system and things like that, so.
Okay, so you guys just announced a PlayStation 4 version of Final Fantasy XIV. How are players going to, I mean, if a player plays the PS3 version and then they get the PS4 version, what happens there? Oh,
it's going to be, we're trying to make it as smooth as possible. You know, all of your stuff will carry over seamlessly. You don't have to worry about like, okay, now I've got the PS4 version, I have to start over, because it's really important that all that stuff is as smooth as possible, because we want players to start the PS3 version right away. We don't want them to have to wait, or like, they've already had to wait a long time for the PS3 one, so now we're excited to finally be releasing it. We're going into beta test this weekend, and so we're excited for that. So we're going to make sure we do everything that's in our power to make sure it's smooth as possible. You don't have to worry.
Cool. Let's talk about weapons and loot a little bit. I mean, MMOs are, you know, you're obviously going to be collecting a lot of loot off of your fallen foes. What kind of stuff are we going to be looking for? Lots of Final Fantasy themed weapons? Any particular favorites of yours?
Well, we've done a lot to make sure that the stuff is very unique. One of the things that our players have really reacted to positively is our primals. So primals are like the summons from other Final Fantasy games, like Ifrit and Titan and, you know, Garuda and things like that. And it's pretty cool. Like when you defeat them, you're actually able to earn weapons that are in the motif of those characters. So like a Garuda bow will have feathers on it, and like the Ifrit sword will have like a big nail of Ifrit. And so players have really been responding well to that. And it's pretty cool too, because like for armor, we made sure that we kept the iconic, the big Final Fantasy gear. Like the white mage has the white robe, the white outfit on. The black mage has the pointy hat, and the black cloak on, and things like that. So immediately when you see a character, you're like, I know this is a Final Fantasy game. I recognize this paladin, I recognize this warrior, the red outfit, the red armor. And so we're making sure that we're keeping all that in Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay, let's talk about the setting of the game. What's the name of the world in which Final Fantasy XIV takes place?
The world is Heidelin, but everything takes place in the realm of Erzea. So it's basically where everything is happening. A lot of the empire is coming in. Things are in turmoil. The way we left the story in 1.0 is Bahamut was actually revealed to come from the sky. He basically destroyed huge parts of the land, So players coming in now are going to be coming in 5 years after that's happened and kind of seeing what's happened. They're going to go around the world and see huge craters and huge, monuments that were erected basically based out of what happened there. And so it's going to be really cool to see players really exploring the setting. And we made sure that, before we had an issue where it was a lot of it was repeated and it was a lot of like, okay, I've seen this jungle before, it's over here now. What we did is we rebuilt it from the ground up and everything looks unique. We made sure that we have really cool areas for players to explore. So even old players coming in and new players are going to have a lot to explore when they first join in.
Cool. Chocobos. Cool.
Chocobos, yes. We have a new system we're introducing in Final Fantasy XIV, Realm Reborn, called the Companion System. And basically these Chocobos will actually fight by your side. So no longer are they just like to ride on. You'll actually be able to go out while you're adventuring and say, oh, I need a healer. You can actually summon your Chocobo companion, put them on a healer mode, and they'll actually help you battle while you're fighting. And so you can have like a tank Chocobo, someone will take all the damage while you're hitting from behind, or you can have a fighting Chocobo who will help you attack if you're a mage. So that's one of the big things.
Companion system, does that include other creatures as well?
Yes, it does. We have talked a little bit about some of the other things that will be there, like perhaps the Magitech stuff from Final Fantasy VI we may be saying something about.
Awesome.
But yeah, we should keep an eye out for more updates on that soon.
Okay, let's talk bosses and like overarching story. Is there like a main storyline that's going to carry players through this game?
Yeah, exactly. Some of our new trailer, you might have seen some of the some guys looking kind of scary, like this scene right here, where they come out and they look very, very dark and I would say evil.
Foreboding.
Yeah, very foreboding. These guys are the part of the Empire, and their goal has always been to subjugate the rest of Erzea. And the Beastmen are kind of, against the Empire. The Free People are trying to fight the Empire because the Empire basically just wants to take over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's going to be one part of the story, and also finding out exactly what happened to Bahamut is going to be another major part because he's a very important character going forward, as well as those summons I mentioned, those primals like Ifrit and Garuda, and seeing how all that stuff kind of fits together to form this like cool story as you go forward is going to be the big challenge.
Cool. Looks like we're just about out of time here, but you mentioned a beta earlier.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. How can players get in on this beta?
So they can go to our website and sign up. We are adding the PS3 version tonight. Actually, the Phase 3 kicks off in about 10 hours.
Oh, wow.
So right after E3 ends, we go right into Phase 3 testing. They can sign up, and we've been sending out tons of keys. We know that PlayStation 3 users are really excited about it, and they've been waiting a long time, so now we're really excited to start getting those keys out to them so they can join in. And we're looking forward to getting their feedback, because this is the first time that they're going to be able to touch the game, and we're really excited to hear what they have to say about it.
Awesome. Well, you heard the man. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. Beta launches tonight on PlayStation 3.
Yep.
Go check it out.